Healthy benefits of keto diet. Low-carb eats less have been questionable for quite a long time. Certain individuals state that these weight control plans raise cholesterol and cause coronary illness because of their high-fat substance. Be that as it may, in most logical examinations, low-carb consumption of fewer calories demonstrates their value as solid and useful. The following are 6 demonstrated medical advantages of low-carb and ketogenic eating less. 1. Low-carb diets reduce your appetite. Hunger will in general be the most noticeably awful symptom of abstaining from excessive food intake. It is one of the primary justifications for why many individuals feel hopeless and ultimately surrender. Be that as it may, low-carb eating prompts a programmed decrease in craving. Concentrates reliably show that when individuals cut carbs and eat more protein and fat, they wind up eating far fewer calories. 2. Low-carb diets weight loss. Cutting carbs is one of the least difficult and best ways of getting more fit. Studies outline that individuals on low-carb eat less lose more weight, quicker, than those on low-fat eating regimens, in any event when the last option is effectively limiting calories. This is on the grounds that low-carb slims down act to free overabundance water from your body, bringing insulin levels and driving down to fast weight reduction in the principal little while. In investigations contrasting low-carb and low-fat eating regimens, individuals confining their carbs at times lose 2 to 3-fold the amount of weight without being ravenous. One review in Fat Grown-Ups found a low-carb diet especially compelling for as long as a half year, contrasted with a regular weight reduction diet. From that point forward, the distinction in weight reduction between slims down was unimportant. In a drawn-out study in 609 overweight grown-ups on low-fat or low-carb slims down, the two gatherings lost comparative measures of weight. 3. A greater proportion of fat loss. Abdominal cavity. Not all fat in your body is the same. Where fat is stored determines how it affects your health and risk of disease. The two main types are subcutaneous fat, which is under your skin, and visceral fat, which accumulates in your abdominal cavity and is typical for most overweight men. Visceral fat tends to lodge around your organs. Excess visceral fat is associated with inflammation and insulin resistance, and may drive the metabolic dysfunction so common in the West today. Low-carb diets are very effective at reducing this harmful abdominal fat. In fact, a greater proportion of the fat people lose on low-carb diets seems to come from the abdominal cavity. Over time, this should lead to a drastically reduced risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. 4. Triglycerides tend to drop drastically. Fatty oils are fat particles that course in your circulatory system. It is notable that high-fasting fatty oils, levels in the blood after a short-term quick, are a solid coronary illness hazard factor. One of the primary drivers of raised fatty substances in inactive individuals is carb utilization, particularly the straightforward sugar fructose. At the point when individuals cut carbs, they will generally encounter an extremely sensational decrease in blood fatty oils. Then again, low-fat weight control plans frequently make fatty substances increment. 5. Increased levels of good, HDL cholesterol. High-thickness lipoprotein, HDL, is frequently called the upside cholesterol. The higher your levels are of HDL comparative with terrible LDL, the lower your danger of coronary illness. Perhaps the most ideal way to build great HDL levels is to eat fat and low-carb, consume fewer calories that incorporate a ton of fat. Accordingly, it is obvious that HDL levels increment drastically on solid, low-carb consumes fewer calories, while they will generally increment just decently or even decrease on low-fat eating regimens. 6. Reduced blood sugar and insulin levels. Low-carb and ketogenic diets can likewise be especially useful for individuals with diabetes and insulin opposition, which influence a large number of individuals around the world. Studies demonstrate that cutting carbs brings down both glucose and insulin levels definitely. Certain individuals with diabetes who start a low-carb diet might have to lessen their insulin dose by half very quickly. In one review in individuals with type 2 diabetes, 95% had diminished or wiped out their glucose, bringing down drug inside a half year. On the off chance that you take a glucose drug, converse with your primary care physician prior to making changes to your carb consumption, as your measurement might be acclimated to forestall hypoglycemia. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.